Hey, good morning. I'm finally here. I had to troubleshoot a little bit with my camera. So sorry for this delay in starting. We're going to get started. All right. Go ahead and get on your yoga mat if you're not already there. And if you're still watching, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Evie on behalf of the York County YMCA downtown branch. Thanks for joining yoga this morning. So let's go ahead and get seated. Comfortable seated position. Allow your sit bones to rest gently on the ground and shoulders to relax. Hands can go on the kneecaps. Let's go ahead and take some deep grounding breaths. In through the nose and out through the mouth. So allow your mind to settle. On your next inhale, reach your hands up overhead. Bring your palms together and down at heart center. Allow your thumb knuckles to press to your chest and take some deep breaths, just feeling that right there at heart center. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more time, inhale and exhale. Let's begin to open our eyes and find our hands here on our knees. We're going to start with some seated hip circles. So taking a deep breath in, start to move your chest and torso side, front, and back. If you haven't already, reverse your direction. Awesome. We're going to land on one side. So as you're leaning, just pause. Take your hands out away from the center of your body. Let your head drop down and take 3 deep breaths. Think about pushing this hip and leg down towards the floor. Beautiful. Inhale, come up. And let's work on the other side. Take an inhale. Reach for the opposite side. Let the head relax, shoulders relax. Awesome. Come all the way up. And we're going to move into child's pose. Let's go ahead and take child's pose. Allow your hips to settle down. And this morning, I want you to press your fingertips up to the top of the mat so that you get the length in the spine. And let's take some deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth of the nose. And just feel any tension or any tightness, and think about sending your breath into that space of your body. And then start to move into your downward facing dog. Bringing hands under you and spreading your fingers out as wide as you can, lifting the tailbone and walking around on your feet, perhaps coming up onto your toes. Let your head and shoulders shake out here. And then just start to notice, again, this being your first downward dog of the practice, how it feels. Can you move around and get a little more space in your body? Awesome. Take another deep breath in your downward dog. And then when you're ready, walk your feet to your hands. Make sure your feet are about hip-width distance apart. And this morning, we're going to take our peace fingers around our big toes and drop the head. So here, I want you to bend your knees as much as you can and just let your torso and head and shoulders shake out. And feel free to bend your knees and straighten your legs as much as you need to. This can help release tension in the low back as well as stretch the legs. And while we're here, we're going to try a couple halfway lift ups. So holding onto your toes, flatten your back as you take an inhale, and then fold over your legs with your exhale. Just continue to shake out any residual tension. Take some deep breaths. Might feel good to sway your hips or bob your hips up and down. And then go ahead and release your toes. Bend your knees a lot so that you can roll yourself up to standing. Bring the shoulders back. Standing up tall in mountain pose. Feel your feet. Maybe check down and look at your toes so you can spread them out. And then lift the crown of your head just a little bit. Let's take 3 deep breaths in mountain pose. On your next inhale, reach your hands up overhead. And with your exhale, fold forward over your legs. Take a halfway lift on your inhale. And on your exhale, fold. Inhale and sweep your hands up overhead, coming to stand. Exhale and fold forward over your legs. Inhale to a halfway lift up. And fold with your exhale. We're going to go through this a few more times. So as you lift up, bring the breath in. As you fold forward, let the breath go. Last time, reaching overhead. Into our tabletop. Bringing hands under shoulders and knees under hips. Take a big inhale as you lift your chin up for cow pose. And take an exhale as you round your spine into cat pose. And we're going to go through these 5 times. So feel free to hold your posture in either one. Think about relaxing the top of your feet onto the mat. And spreading your fingers wide on the mat. Let's take a final round of cat and cow. Coming back to a neutral spine tabletop, I want you to reach forward with one hand and breathe into your body as you hold your posture. You could also kick your opposite leg back behind you. And if you're doing okay with your balance, you could also bend your knee and reach back for your toes, opening up the chest. Let's take some deep breaths. Inhale, exhale. Beautiful. Come all the way back to the tabletop position and move to the opposite side, reaching forward with your hand. Sending your opposite foot back when you're ready. Breathe. Let's go ahead and open up the hip from here. Reaching for the toes. Stretching open from the chest. And release. Let's come back to our tabletop. And here, take your knees a little bit wider and just shift your hips and push your torso around here. Letting go of any tension you may have noticed during that bird dog position. Good. And then move back into child's pose. A few more deep breaths in your child's pose. Awesome. Press yourself into a downward facing dog. And from your downward dog, walk your toes together behind you. Press your heels down towards the mat as fast as you can, and then take your right toes up to the sky. Stretching out your leg, opening up the hip. Good. Take another inhale, and on your exhale, step up to warrior one. And now let's take humble warrior, dropping the chest down towards the knee, reaching the hands back. 2 breaths. As you inhale, open up into your warrior 2. And from your warrior 2, I want you to settle into the legs, spread your toes, and then reverse your warrior with your next inhale. We're going to cartwheel our hands down to the mat and take a high plank position. Take a breath in, and on your exhale, lower down to a push-up. You can inhale to your upward facing dog. And exhale into your downward facing dog. Walk the toes together at the back of the mat and lift the left toes up to the sky, opening up the hip. Step into your warrior 1. And remember, you can take your feet as wide as you need to. Sometimes we need a little more space in the hips. Humble warrior when you're ready. Move into your warrior 2. And reverse your warrior. Cartwheel the hands down to the mat, moving through chaturanga. And from here, we're going to flow. Inhale the right toes to the sky and step into your warrior one. Open into warrior two. Reverse your warrior, completing your posture with chaturanga, and move to the opposite side. We're going to take that power flow through the warriors, twice more on either side. And when you've completed your flow, take a moment to rest in child's pose. When you're ready and feeling rested from child's pose, come back into your tabletop. And then I want you to take your right foot up to the center of your hands. We're going to lift up into crescent lunge. So you could stay right here or pop up onto that back foot. Crescent lunge. So making sure you're pressing into the back toes, powering up through the front leg. Let's go ahead and take cactus arms here. So open it up through the shoulders and the chest. And then let's bring the hands to heart center and twist to the right. Beautiful. Drop the back knee in your twist. Relax the top of your foot onto the mat and then open the arms. Come back to center. And just pause with that leg back on the mat. We're going to push into the hips, stretch, bring your hands to the mat, and then push your hip back, coming into a hamstring stretch. Inhale and exhale. 2 more. Beautiful. Downward facing dog. All right, from downward dog, we're going to do that opposite side. But before we get into that, I want you to bend your knees and hover so that you're activating your abdominal muscles. Take a breath in and then let it go. Exhale. Go ahead and bring that left foot up. Crescent lunge. You can always start from here if you need to. And let's take cactus arms, opening the chest, and then bringing hands to heart center. Twist off to your left. Let's drop the back foot, back knee, and open the arms. You're going to bring your hands back up to center, opening up the hip, and then bringing hands down to the mat, pushing hips back, hamstring stretch. Deep breaths. Good. Make your way to downward facing dog. From your downward dog, step or jump up to your hands. Take a halfway lift up, fold, and rise into chair pose. Hands to your heart, twist off to your right. Inhale back up into your chair, and exhale, hands to heart center, twisting to your left. Take an inhale to reach up to center, chair pose, and exhale, folding forward. Halfway lift up, forward fold, step it back, move through your chaturanga. And from downward dog, walk your hands back to your feet and take out a squat. Make sure you can keep your chest lifted up, settling the hips down, pressing your feet into the ground, palms at heart center or palms open. And then walk back out into your high plank position. Move through your chaturanga. From downward dog, roll back out to your high plank, left hand to the center of the mat, open, right side plank. You could take your top foot off the mat as well. Let's breathe in and out. Return back to your center plank with your chaturanga. Nice work. Take a breath in your downward dog and then move out to high plank. And right hand to the center of the mat, open left side plank. And again, you can take that top foot off the mat. Let's move back into high plank, chaturanga low push-up. And from downward dog, step or jump up to your hands. And come up to mountain pose. So reset here in your mountain pose. Reset meaning catch your breath, relax your shoulders. And when you're ready, inhale to reach up and take eagle pose. I'm going to take that right side eagle pose with my right arm coming under and my right leg going up and over. From your eagle pose, you can move into any other standing single leg balance posture. I'm going to move into an airplane, but you're welcome to take any other ones. From your standing leg balance, come back into your eagle pose. And if you're still there, that's great. Eagle pose. Good. Take an inhale as you release your posture and move into the other side, eagle pose. Again, we're going to move into another standing leg balance. Take your time. We'll meet back up in eagle. Beautiful. Reset in your mountain pose. Feet to the earth, arms and shoulders relaxed, head lifted. Breathe in and out. One more deep breath. Inhale and bring those hands to heart center. Coming into your tree pose, right side tree pose. Let's reach those arms up. Taking tree arms, lifting the chest and chin. Go ahead and make your way to the opposite side, tree pose. So what's really helpful in any of these standing balance postures is to find a focal point that's not moving right in front of you. Focusing on that as you are bringing your breath into your posture. Let's go ahead and come back into our mountain pose. On your next inhale, take your hands to your hips. Good. We're going to take one knee up in towards the center of the body. So making sure that you have your foot flexed. We're going to kick that foot forward and then kick it back, coming into our airplane pose. So if you didn't catch airplane during the eagle flow, here we are. Breathing in and breathing out. Let's bring hands to heart center. So from here you can stay or you can twist open, either half moon or twisted half moon. I'm going to take twisted half moon this morning. And forward fold to complete your posture. Let's go ahead and take ragdoll arms and just shake out the torso here. Roll back up to your mountain pose. Take a big breath. Let it go. Bring hands to hips and bring that opposite knee up towards the center. Flexing your foot, kicking it forward, and then kicking it back, airplane pose. Again, finding that momentum in the breath. Let's go ahead and take a twist. Forward fold when you're complete. And this time in your fold, clasp your hands together behind your back and release your head and neck. I'm going to take another goddess squat. So take your feet wide on your mat. Drop the hips. Palms together or apart. Let's take 3 breaths. Nice work. When you're ready, step into your downward dog. From here, lift the right toes, hug your knee up to your nose, and land in your half pigeon pose. And we'll just be here for a little bit. You want to make sure your shin comes up towards the top of your mat. So you can see I'm doing a lot with this back leg. I can keep my knee bent. I can straighten my leg. This stretch takes a lot out of your hip, your glute, your hamstring. So the way to release is to fold down over as fast as you can. You can use a pillow or a book or a block. We're going to be here for about 6 more breaths. This is one of my favorites for flexibility in my hips and in my glutes. So if you're doing any kind of activities that require those muscles, this is a must stretch. this morning I'm going to add some quad stretch. So as I come up in my half pigeon, I'm going to bend my back knee and reach for my back toes as best as I can. So I'm going to turn so that I can see, and then just gently pull that heel in towards the bottom. And I'm going to walk my opposite hand away so that I can get a really nice quad stretch. Up to you. You could also lay down on the forearm. Let's go ahead and take another deep breath. And as you exit, just make your way into your pigeon. You could go to downward dog or simply take your back leg up and around. All right. Settling in to the other side. Sometimes it feels so much better. Sometimes it doesn't. This morning, it feels really good. I did a lot over the weekend, and I know I need this deep internal stretch. Let's go ahead and take some deep breaths together. Go ahead and press up and bend your back knee, reaching for those back toes. Again, taking that opposite arm out if it's accessible to you. Stretching. Nice stretch on that quad. Let's move into our downward dog. Final one of the practice. And just check in. I'm going to drop down into child's pose for my final child's pose of the practice. And just take a couple breaths as I take a body scan. So with a body scan, it's just you're noticing how your body feels from beginning to end of practice. And you can do this anytime, any place. When you're ready, we will meet up in seated with legs extended on the mat. So do your best to straighten your legs and have your sits bones down onto the floor. Let's go ahead and inhale to lift up the arms. And with your exhale, folding over the legs. Remember, you can keep your knees bent. You can also reach for toes. You can relax your neck and your head. This morning, I'm going to go from seated staff pose into butterfly. So bring the soles of your feet together. Take those arms up overhead with your inhale and exhale, folding forward. As you come up, extend one leg out and take seated tree pose. I'm also going to add the torso lift with my inhale. And opposite side. Taking seated tree pose, inhaling as you lift the torso and arm, exhaling as you fold over your leg. I swear, I'm going to go back into my butterfly pose, and this time I'm going to work a little bit on pressing into my thighs just to get a little bit more release. Another thing you can do is twist as you press. That feels really good sometimes if you have tight obliques. Your ab muscles need to be tightened or need to be relaxed and stretched. Awesome. Let's go ahead and roll out onto our backs. And from here, hug your right knee to your chest. Extend your left leg and take some deep breaths. I'm going to let that right knee and right leg relax as you're pulling. So you can move those hands around. Do your best to draw that knee up towards your armpit. And let your leg just kind of be limp here. Big inhales and exhales. And then go ahead and extend your right foot towards the sky. Again, you can keep your hands where it's comfortable. I'm taking mine behind the back of my knee, giving myself one more nice long hamstring stretch. Another thing you can do to aid your stretch is to flex your foot. So I'm driving my heel up towards the sky and pointing the toes as best as I can back towards my face. Another thing you can do is reach up towards the toes. This gives you a deeper hamstring stretch. And if you have straps at home, awesome time to grab your strap and strap up your foot. Let's take 2 more breaths. And when you're complete with that side, hug your left knee up to center. Again, relaxing your leg as best as you can. It might fall out to the side. That is okay. Meanwhile, your extended leg is also relaxed. So just do your best to let those muscles cease from flexing for just a few moments. Deep breaths. When you're ready, lift your left heel up towards the sky. Again, hands can be around knees, shins, ankles. I want you to get that nice long length. Again, you can point your toes back towards your face. You can press your heel to the sky. If you find that your hands are inhibiting your stretch, you can simply relax them by your side. You can also reach up towards the toes, I think. Beautiful. Bring your feet down to the mat. Take your arms up overhead. Full body stretch. Inhaling and exhaling. Beautiful. Take this time for any final stretches and relax out onto your mat. You can let your legs splay open and arms come out by your sides. I want you to take a few deep breaths and just focus on that inhale and exhale. My quote last week was exhaling the old, inhaling with the new. So let's follow that same theme here. Inhaling the new, the becoming, and exhaling the old, the past. And you can really focus on exhaling so that your body sinks down into the floor, and inhaling so that you feel yourself puffing up onto the floor. So be really present with your breath. This is just our final rest for our practice of asana, or corpse pose. Gently start to wiggle toes, fingers, and nod your head side to side. And gently bring your knees up to chest. Rolling to the right side for infant's pose. New beginnings here. Take a deep breath. And when you're ready, press yourself up to seated. Again, coming to sits bones, lifting the crown of the head, and relaxing shoulders down your back. Just take some deep breaths as you settle into this still seated position. Keeping eyes closed, draw your hands together at heart center. Pressing your thumb knuckles to heart center. Feeling what you feel. I'm going to close our practice with 3 ohms. You're welcome to join. Breath in. Thank you for sharing your time and your space. Until our eyes meet again, I say namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. My name's Evie, and on behalf of the York County YMCA Downtown Branch, I bring you some power to the flow. Hope to see you next week at 7 a.m. Thank you so much. Have an awesome day, and keep it real. Get out in that sun.